Imagine a world on the brink of destruction, nations teetering on the edge, alliances crumbling, and a single gunshot igniting the deadliest war humanity had ever seen. What began as a local dispute spiraled into a global catastrophe, consuming millions of lives and reshaping history forever. This is the story of World War I, the war that changed everything. The year was 1914, and Europe stood on the edge of catastrophe. Decades of political tensions, military alliances, and imperial ambitions had created a fragile balance of power. Nationalism was on the rise, with various ethnic groups seeking independence, while major powers vied for global dominance. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary on June 28 in Sarajevo was the spark that ignited the fire. Austria-Hungary, backed by Germany, declared war on Serbia, setting off a chain reaction that drew the great powers of Europe into a devastating conflict. Within weeks, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire, the Central Powers, faced off against Britain, France, Russia, and later Italy and the United States, the Allied powers. Germany, seeking a swift victory, enacted the Schlieffen Plan, a strategy designed to quickly defeat France before turning to Russia. German troops stormed through Belgium, violating its neutrality, which led Britain to enter the war. The initial battles were fast and brutal, with the Germans reaching the outskirts of Paris. However, the French and British forces stopped them at the Battle of the Marne, forcing a long and grueling war of attrition. As both sides dug in, the Western Front became a static battlefield, with opposing armies separated by a deadly no-man's land. By 1915, the war had devolved into a nightmarish stalemate. Soldiers dug vast networks of trenches along the Western Front, stretching from the North Sea to Switzerland. Life in the trenches was hellish. Rats, disease, mud, and constant artillery bombardment made survival a daily struggle. The Battle of Verdun and the Battle of the Somme saw unprecedented casualties, with entire generations of young men lost in the slaughter. Soldiers endured poison gas attacks, machine gun fire, and the relentless horror of war. Despite new technologies, including tanks and airplanes, no decisive breakthrough was achieved, and the war dragged on. While the Western Front stagnated, the Eastern Front was more fluid. Russia engaged Germany and Austria-Hungary in massive battles, suffering enormous losses. The harsh winters and logistical challenges made fighting even more brutal. Meanwhile, the war spread beyond Europe. Ottoman forces fought in the Middle East, and Japan seized German colonies in Asia. The war also saw fierce battles in Africa as European colonial powers clashed. In 1917, the United States entered the war after repeated German U-boat attacks on American ships and the infamous Zimmermann telegram, which proposed a German-Mexican alliance against the U.S. The fresh American troops provided a much-needed morale boost to the exhausted Allies. By 1918, exhaustion, economic collapse, and internal revolutions brought an end to the war. Russia withdrew after the Bolshevik Revolution, while Germany launched one last desperate offensive on the Western Front. The Allies, strengthened by American reinforcements, pushed back. The 100 Days Offensive shattered German defenses, and mutinies spread within the German army. On November 11, 1918, Germany signed an armistice, bringing the war to an end. The once mighty empires of Germany, Austria-Hungary, Russia, and the Ottoman Empire crumbled in the aftermath. Millions were dead, cities lay in ruins, and an entire generation was scarred by the horrors they had witnessed. The war left Europe shattered, with millions dead and economies in ruins. In 1919, the Treaty of Versailles imposed harsh penalties on Germany, blaming it for the war and demanding heavy reparations. The treaty redrew borders, stripping Germany of its colonies and restricting its military. However, the severe conditions fueled resentment, particularly in Germany, where nationalist fervor grew. The League of Nations was formed in hopes of preventing future conflicts, but its lack of authority and the absence of the United States weakened its influence. The seeds of World War II were already being sown in the embers of the Great War. World War I changed the world forever. It redrew borders, dismantled empires, and set a precedent for modern warfare. The lessons of the Great War remind us of the dangers of unchecked nationalism, militarism, and political alliances spiraling out of control. The technological advancements developed during the war, tanks, airplanes, and chemical warfare, would shape future conflicts. It also led to the rise of new ideologies, including communism in Russia and fascism in Italy and Germany. Understanding history is crucial to preventing the mistakes of the past from repeating. The sacrifices of those who fought must never be forgotten, serving as a reminder of the cost of war and the importance of peace. If you found this story interesting, make sure to subscribe for more historical content.